We're live. This is the Rich Lieberman Media Pulse. We give you the straight dope I do, not the bull, not the crap, not the PR press releases that you read in the various trades, whether it's radio or television or internet. The whole Megillah here. And by the way, folks, thank you for making this site up and coming and word of mouth and telling your friends, your priests, your rabbis, your enemies, your doctor, your lawyer about me, myself, and I read the trades out of habit more than just curiosity. Well, that too. And I'm sorry, I can't let this go. So that's why you come here. Occasionally, I give you more than just a little entertainment, a little information, what have you. I give you real news. And based on opinion, of course, a lot of it is. Some of it isn't. This is out and out baloney, crapo, bullshit personified in the radio online. And I'm going to quote and put up the quote. I'm going to paraphrase from now, talking about the Giants' extension, air quotes, that goes through 2028, so another 3 years beyond this season. Folks, it is BS. And I'm not saying this as an angry ex-Oakland Athletics fan or have any kind of preconceived biases or what have you. This is straight fact. Look, I lampoon the Oakland A's and their setup because they're a joke. Sort of like Major League Baseball these days in terms of their attendance or lack thereof and all that. This is fact. They waited to the very last minute, did both parties, mostly the Giants, to announce this ridiculous, pathetic extension. And they made a big to-do, folks. And I'm going to give you the real deal, not the press release and not the bullshit uttered by alleged program directors who have no power, who have no oomph. And I'll get into that in a second, specifically. But this extension was basically a who's going to blink first type of situation. In years past, ladies and gentlemen, yes, radio rights to Major League Baseball games, especially the Giants, who are on the verge of going 50 years, perhaps, with KNBR. It's very important. Radio rights, they used to pay up to $12 million, did Cumulus at the time, and Susquehanna, and before that, when KNBR was owned by a legitimate broadcast entity. Lucrative. That was the relationship with the Giants, which precipitated their success. They both had a very successful relationship because they both fed off each other. Baseball was prosperous, didn't have RSNs, these networks that televise via cable the various teams. It's when baseball had an appeal, and it was the pastime. It was at least the second most popular sport behind the king, which is NFL football. And yes, money exchanged hands because advertising was there. Advertising, lucrative advertising. Lots of money was made. And mind you, this was at a time at the complete zeitgeist of the relationship was when the Giants won the World Series 3 times in the last decade. The money was flowing in, and you had KNBR with completely legit hosts like Gary Radnich, like Tom Tolbert, who I wasn't a big fan of, Ralph Barbieri, who I was, Pete Franklin. There was legitimate mechanisms to which dictated this relationship, which was very strong. 49ers to come, the Giants since 1979. The money was there, the money was laid out. No longer the case, folks. They have no money. The Giants waited to the last minute, the morning of opening day, to announce this extension, which, by the way, when they made a big to do about extending their own announcers, well, what the hell were they going to do? And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the announcers for the Giants are paid for by the team, not KNBR, which should tell you a lot. Of course they extended them. What were they going to do? Fire them? No. Kruko and Kuiper, who they're stuck with and are very, very popular. Good for them. But they were stuck with them. So 4 years sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. And no money exchange hands. The Giants might get some greeny chips or brownie points in and along the way where suddenly the economy becomes more prosperous. And who knows with the stock market the way it is and tariffs and all that, but that's another story. My point is, and I'm going to put up this quote from Radio Online. It is utter out and out false. Mike Hohler is KNBR's chosen program director, but it is only a title. He has no power. He can't fire anybody. He can't even, short of maybe going out and buying a couple of Subway sandwiches, assuming that Cumulus has an expense account. Still, with Subway, there's no power there. It's a ceremonial job. The people who still work there are basically, and these are mostly behind the scenes people. I'm not talking necessarily about the on-air people, but it's all BS. They're paying people a lot, $2,000 a month. That's basically minimum wage. In San Francisco, a lot of these guys that are working there have other jobs, producers, engineers. Only the meekest can survive there, which is why, among many reasons, that the Giants were left with a take it or leave it, which they pretty much had to, by just sheer reality, take it, because they have no other way to go unless they were to go their electronic gadgetry route, the Giants.com situation, but they weren't equipped to handle that right now, which, by the way, dictates their cable presence on NBC Bay Area. You want to know one of the reasons why they are now charging people money to watch the Giants? You name it, they have to. And they've lost some viewership because of that. But people will probably, due to the fact they have this very successful beginning of the season, that will always help, can't hurt. But back to radio, there is a really gross BS phlegm here. It's crap. It's the kind of stuff that it just pisses me off to see this. And they're trying to fool you, the public. Most of you are too smart and put two and two together to take this BS for nothing other than what it really is. It's BS. And I'm not angry. I'm just a little agitated when they put these quotes in. Go online and read the entire story. It's a press release. It is Larry Baer, who is the face of the franchise. Still, Mr. Hey, honey, don't look at my cell phone. Otherwise, things could happen. Larry Baer, who is basically running the Giants, their front man. No other place to go other than KNBR. They needed the Giants need them. And that's what it is. These press release companies, the trades, they might as well be PR conduits for these organizations. That's all they do. They put in the absolutely useless quotes. Mike Hohler, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ought to go back, Michael, to thinking when you were a legit guy professionally, when you were a producer for the Gary Radnich show, and you had to, oh my God, actually take calls and screen and put up decent phone calls up on the screen so Ratty could not be left naked dealing with an unspoken, unforeseen call. That was reality for you. You took this job, program director, out of basic kindness. They're not paying you anything extra. Maybe you get a few extra sandwiches for the month, but to use your quote is laughable. Oh, you're a fan, and it makes you feel thoroughly wonderful. And again, I'm paraphrasing. I'm going to put the actual quote up that the Giants and KNBR have found another partnership extension. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you that don't know reality, and those of you who think, "Oh my God, what an announcement on opening day, no less," it is bullshit. It is bullshit promulgated and heightened by people like Larry Baer and Mike Hohler, who is symbolic, has a title only, and Brian Murphy, who continues to sniff the juices of Larry Baer's ass. Sorry to be a little gross, but I like the truth. Well, you can't handle the truth. I think you guys can. And that's why I'm here and why you come watch me, because the truth still does matter in my book. And I think yours too.